I'm always looking for some different ideas to get my craft room organized. So I'm going to be sharing some ideas and hacks that I've come up with that you may want to try for your craft room. I've had this set of plastic drawers in my craft room for a very long time, and it is just not serving me well anymore. I need to do something with all the things that are inside. I'm struggling with opening the drawers. They're like drooping, and I think I put way too much in here. As you can see, I don't even know what's what anymore. So I need to get all of this organized, and I've come up with a few solutions. I have this tin that I picked up from the thrift store. It's a beautiful tin. I love it. It's even got the lid. I needed to measure it so I can create some dividers for the inside, as I want to store all my pens and markers in here. I've got this beautiful cardboard box. It's gold on one side and white on the other. Just cutting it down so I can cut some pieces that will fit the inside of the tin. I'm just going to measure the size that I need. So if you decide to do this, you'll just need to do the same. I'm creating 2 pieces that are going to fit inside the tin. Just marking it off with my pencil, and then I am going to use, as you can see, a steel ruler along with a craft knife, and then I can just cut it really easily on a nice firm surface. I'm not cutting into my craft table. I don't want to wreck it. So I do have a piece of flat wood here that I like to cut on. Now I'm just going to cut this piece in half, and now I've got 2 pieces that'll work together for inside the tin. But I need these 2 pieces to fit together. So I'm just going to make sure that my pieces are going to fit down inside, and I'm going to trim them down as needed. I did have to just trim it up just a little bit, and then it was also a little bit too tall, so I trimmed that down as well because I needed my lid to fit back on there. And the lip of my lid did fit down inside the tin just a bit, so I just needed to make a few adjustments to my cardboard pieces. Now I found the middle of my one cardboard piece, and I'm going to take my craft knife and my steel ruler, and I'm just going to cut out a slit. So I'm going to cut down one side. I'm going to just switch it over, and then I'm going to cut out about a millimeter size strip out of the center of this cardboard piece. And that will allow for the other cardboard piece to slip down inside to create partitions. So I'm just going to try this out here, and I did discover that yes, I needed to cut a slit in my other piece as well. So I will be doing that as well. And the same thing, I will end up finding the center of my cardboard and then cutting a slit out the same way as before. I did end up going further down to the bottom of my cardboard piece, and that way here I knew that it was all going to fit together really well. So that works awesome, and it's staying together and it fits inside my tin nicely. Now I wanted to just make sure that this was going to remain stable. So I am using some hot glue, and while I'm holding this together, I'm going to glue each joint of our cardboard. Then it will help to hold it and stabilize it so it doesn't collapse once it's inside the tin. This is a great hack on recycling things that you may already have or that you can get from the thrift store. You could even do this with a coffee can if you have one handy. So I've got my partitions all glued together. Now I'm going to just slip that inside the tin, and then I'm going to go and grab all those pens and pencils and markers and get those properly organized. You can see it's a real hodgepodge. There's some stuff in there that shouldn't even be in there. So I'm going to sort through it all. I've got highlighters, and I've got some permanent markers, crayons. I don't know why the crayons are there. I don't use them. My kids don't use them anymore, so I need to get rid of those. And I'm just going to try the pencils in here. Discovered that they were too tall, so I've got another tin elsewhere in my craft room that I keep my pencils. I'm going to put my gel pens and different types of pens inside here, and I am loving it, getting rid of whatever I'm not using and putting other things away properly. You can see how beautiful this tin is, and you can see how well I've got everything organized inside. I love this. This next drawer had an assortment of some different clips and whatnot. I really like these containers here. It's acrylic from Dollar Tree. I haven't seen them for a while, so I don't know if they still have them or not. I'm going to be moving all those paper clips into this beautiful tin that I got from the thrift store. It's from Crabtree and Evelyn, and it had some tea and biscuits in it. I'm going to cover up those labels that they have on there and remove any of the other labels. I don't need them anymore. But first I'm going to just measure everything out to see what's going to fit inside, and then decide what I want to keep and what I want to get rid of. These large paper clips were originally from Dollar Tree, and to tell you the truth, they are poor quality. So I'm just going to donate them in case somebody wants them for a craft. I'm going to sort out all the other paper clips. I've got these clear acrylic containers. I'm going to fill the one up with my gold and silver paper clips, and the other one with these larger colorful paper clips. I just emptied this container out because I'm going to be putting those clips into a different container. So I'm just going to sort through them all, and then I'm going to see how everything fits inside the tin, and it works really well. I decided that I wanted these large silver ones. These are very sturdy, but they fit, but I didn't want them loose. So I decided to grab some elastic bands and wrap them around. But first I'm like, okay, these little containers are a little needed to be secured, so I added just a little bit of tape to help hold them together. And here I'm just using elastics to hold those large silver paper clips together, and everything fits inside nicely. I did have to remove that paper label later on, which I will do, but first I'm just making sure everything fits inside. These smaller paper clips fit in the top nicely. And then I've got my paper clips all tucked away in a beautiful container that's easy to access. I don't have to just go into that annoying drawer that I had. Loving this. For this last drawer here, I have got this punch board that doesn't even belong in here. I've got another section for all my punch stuff. I'm going to be organizing all the stuff in here using this whiskey box that I got from the thrift store. No, I didn't drink the whiskey that was in it. It was empty. I see these boxes there all the time, and I love them to store stuff. So again, first I need to go through everything that's in this drawer and get rid of anything that I'm not using anymore, and then store things away such as the stapler items and anything else that I want to store in these whiskey crates. I did have a little pencil sharpener that I'm going to be putting in a little container and adding other pencil sharpeners to this crate. But for now, I'm just sorting through these rulers, setting aside the ones that I want to keep and getting rid of the ones I'm not going to use, and putting everything else away in their proper place. So here's that pencil sharpener. I'm going to put it in a little old film canister, or you can use a container from Dollar Tree. I'm just going to store that away because I didn't want to lose it. I love that little pencil sharpener. So you can see everything's tucked away in there nicely. I will be making labels for these as well as some other things. I'm going to be showing you that here in a moment. But I also wanted just to show you how like some little crates can be placed inside these little whiskey crates. I've got this one here that I picked up from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to put my erasers in there. It worked really well because the erasers are quite small and I don't want to lose them. I'm going to put my tape in there. And like I said, I will be making some labels, and so that will be labeled appropriately. I have one other whiskey crate that I've got already that's full of paper crafting tools, and I will be making a new label for that as well. So I am going to be using my Cricut Joy Extra along with some Cricut printable products that I have. And I do have a full tutorial already on how to make labels using your Cricut as well as your printer. So I'm going to have that linked for you down below. And then you could also just do them by hand if you wish. Cricut has a lot of like free labels that you could use if you want, but I have chosen this one to use for the tin with the paper clips. You can see it's a nice round, beautiful label. I just needed to make the adjustments necessary, follow all the prompts that are on the screen. That's for your machine. I'm using the font called Apple Cider to create the label for my paper clips. So you can see it's just an adorable tag. I am really loving this. And then I'm just going to, of course, fill that in. And I'm going to highlight the entire image and attach it all together because I needed to make 2 of these labels. I wanted one for the front as well as one for the top of my tin for my paper clips. So I like to do all my work on my computer. So I'm going to save this all, and I've already got a folder, and I'm going to title this and I'm going to save it in folder so then I can easily find it when I go to use my device to create these on my machine. I just find it's a lot easier to just take my device and make it over there. So I've already got some other labels made for my crate, and I've selected my stuff, and you'll see that they're here. Again, it's all the same steps in that video that I had already mentioned. I wanted to create a nice clean look, so that's why I decided to use my Cricut machine. I'm going to be using the Cricut printable sticker paper. I will have all the product links down in the description box below for you. Here is the Cricut Joy Extra machine. It's new to me and I'm absolutely loving it. It's a really fun machine. Okay, so I'm in my device and I've opened up Cricut Design Space. I am using the Access subscription service, but as mentioned before, they have lots of free images for you to use. So I went into my stuff and I'm finding those labels that I had already created. These are the ones that were for the whiskey barrel. So just again, follow all the prompts on the screen. It will walk you through what you need to do for your labels. With the printable sticker paper, you do need to use a mat. That is really important. This is not smart material, so you will need to use a mat, but it is a great product. I really like it. I've used it a few times now and it is so user-friendly. And so I'm just gonna, again, just get that out and then apply it to a mat and just watch this little machine go. I must say that Cricut machines make labeling things so easy for your entire home. I really enjoyed this and I love how these turned out. So I'm going to remove this sheet off of the mat and then I'm going to set the mat aside, and then I can now apply them to those awesome wood crates that I have. So again, this has got the stapler and the pencil sharpener. So I'm going to just put that into place, and I am going to use the brayer to press it down because I don't know if the ink is completely dry. So I'm just going to do that, and I'm going to apply them to the other crates as well as the paper crafting tool crate. And this is how it all looks. I think it looks so much better, and you can see how nicely organized everything is in these wood crates. So I completed the labels for my paper clips as well. So I'm just going to peel those off and put them into place. I've got one for the top and then I've got one for the side. I just wanted to cover up where it says Crabtree and Evelyn because this is not what's in there anymore. It's got paper clips. Loving how this tin turned out. It's a great little hack if you can find some thrift store items and use that for your craft room storage. So this next hack is nothing new, seen it plenty of times before, but that is to color code the tops of your craft paints. Now, some people store them upside down, but I have had mishaps in the past. So my daughter went around and added some paint to the tops of the lids, and you can see how easy it is to find your colors that you want. I love this hack. It is great for the craft room. So remember I had all those rulers. I decided that I'm gonna store them with my tall paintbrushes in this utensil container that I picked up from my dollar store. I keep this container on the top of my workspace, so it's really easy to access those rulers anytime that I need them. I think it looks really sharp sitting in this container. So I've got a whole bunch of new Cricut supplies, and I've got it stored away in these drawers, but as you can see, they are all mislabeled. So I need to get rid of those labels. I'm going to use my Cricut machine again to create some new labels. And I have found this really cool design within the Cricut Design Access. And again, I've got the tutorial on how to make all your labels down in that description box below, but you can see I needed to copy and paste these several times because I wanted all my labels to match. I just needed to change the wording in each one. So I did that accordingly. And then I used a really cool product that Cricut carries. They have some removable writable vinyl, and so I wanted that because I wasn't sure if I'm going to be keeping all my supplies where they are. They are in there for now, but I might end up changing my mind and I'm going to want to remove those labels. Now, the one thing I'm not sure about is if they are reusable. So if you know that, please let me know down below in the comments section. So this is a smart product, so it doesn't actually need to go on a mat. So you just need to feed it in there and let it do its thing. I will be using a Cricut pen in here, and I'm just gonna put that in place and allow the machine to do its thing. And I have to say, I am absolutely impressed with how well this ink worked on this writable vinyl. It was so cool to watch. Look at those little flowers. Isn't it just so adorable? So I would absolutely love to know how you label your stuff in your craft room. I'm sure others would love to know as well. All these ideas are extremely helpful. So to make it a little easier to remove off of the backing, I am using a weeding tool just to help lift it up, and then I'm going to press them into place on the surface according to how I have all my supplies organized within the drawers. I think these removable labels are going to be so awesome, and I was impressed again with how well the ink dried onto this writable vinyl. So I still needed to deal with all those other clips that I had. I'm still going to use those Dollar Tree containers, but I'm also going to store those away inside this wood box. So funny story, this used to be my mom's. She donated it to the thrift store without me knowing that perhaps I wanted it, because I kept on saying, no, I don't need anything more. So she went ahead and donated it, and then I ended up buying it from the charity store, which is fine. It was for charity, but I just thought it was a funny thing. So I needed to remove that lip because the containers didn't quite fit inside the box. So I'm just going to use a spatula to pop those side little pieces off. So this is something that I think is great to do, is to reuse what you have and then reinvent containers that you already have as well for things like this. So here I'm just showing you that the Dollar Tree acrylic containers fit, but if you can't get those, you can get these little plastic square containers or the round ones from Dollar Tree, and they fit inside here really nicely. Just see what you have on hand to see what will work for storage in your craft room, especially if I don't like stuff like this out. I think it looks messy and cluttered. I'm not inspired by it, so I like to have it tucked away. So I'm just going to go ahead here and just fill everything up accordingly, and then I am going to show you how it looks in the end. So I think this is a great piece of storage. I am loving the rustic look of this box, and everything, all these clips fit in here so well and fits on the shelf with my other pieces nicely too. So I'm a crafter that's into lots of different things. So I have lots of different things within my craft room. These are some embossing folders that were in this basket, and this basket is full of die cutting sets. And I have to say, this has been such a monstrosity for me. It's just not working. So I'm like, okay, enough is enough. Let's get this thing in order. So it was sitting on this shelf and it was flopping. I was having a hard time finding what I wanted and to use for a project. So I decided that I'm going to use some sheet protectors. I've got these really heavyweight ones that I found at my local dollar store. And I am also going to be using some cardstock along with this binder that's 1.5 inches wide. And I got this from Walmart. It's such a pretty color, isn't it? So how I thought I would use this was use these magnet sheets that I was storing my die sets on, and I'm going to attach those to the cardstock. The magnet sheets have a sticky back, so it should be really easy. I'm also going to be attaching some samples to the back side of the cardstock. As you can see, yep, I got a real mess with all my samples thrown into this just this recycled container, and it's not working, obviously. So I am going to try my best to sort through all of those. I'm going to be attaching all the samples to the back sides of the cardstock. So I pulled out all the magnetic sheets. Any of the die sets that had their own packaging, I just left them as is because it's working fine. They're not getting in the way, and it also shows what the die sets look like. But it's the sets that didn't come into some packaging that I needed to get organized. So I am going to just pull off all the die sets, put the magnet sheets side by side. I should be able to fit 2 of them on the one side, remove the backing, and then press them into place. Now I did want to butt up the 2 magnet sheets together, and that way here, hopefully it'll be a little bit stable. I might need to go in and add some packing tape where the seam is to help prevent it from folding up on itself. I think you can get some full sheet magnet sheets. If you can find those, definitely use those instead. I think it would definitely make this project a lot easier. So once you have your magnet in place on your cardstock, you can then just put your sets together in place. And then if you have some samples, of course, flip it over and glue those into place as well. And I'll show you that here in a moment. But once you have one sheet filled, you can then put it into a sleeve. Now I will admit I did struggle a little bit. I think it was just because the pages didn't fold up bend and give way so easily because of the magnet sheets, but I did manage to get them into place. If you know of another solution on how to store these, please leave a comment for me because I would love to check that out. So here's a sheet that I did with some samples, and I love how that turned out. Any of the basic shapes, I didn't bother to cut samples out. So now I'm just going to put the few that I've got done into place, and I'll show you how I'm going to be storing these. This is definitely way better than what I had before, way more organized, and it'll be easier to find everything. So here I've got it on my shelf. I have it hung up upright like you see, so that everything hangs down and it's not going to give way on itself. So if you're looking for some more craft room organization ideas, check this playlist out here. I've got lots of ideas and hacks and suggestions. Leave me any ideas down in the comments section, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much for joining me. Take care. Bye.